It's not even a discussion.
Number one.
Yeah.
Greatest player ever to play for
me,
PSG.
yeah. For me, yes, he will go down as the best player for Paris Saint-Germain.
The most expensive free transfer in football history, the player who was supposed to complete Real Madrid's Galactico puzzle, the French superstar who turned down €500 million from PSG to fulfill his childhood dream. What's up, football fans? Today we're diving deep into one of the most polarizing stories of the 2024-25 season. Kylian Mbappe's move to Real Madrid was supposed to be the perfect fairy tale ending, but 6 months in, it's looking more like a cautionary tale about expectations, adaptation, and the brutal reality of elite football. The dream versus reality. Let's rewind to July 16, 2024. The Santiago Bernabeu is packed with 80,000 fans, all there to witness history. Kylian Mbappe, dressed in that iconic white jersey, holds up the number 9 shirt and declares his childhood dream has come true. The presentation video shows him scoring wonder goals. The crowd goes wild, and Florentino Perez has that satisfied smile of a man who's just pulled off the transfer coup of the century. But football isn't played in presentation ceremonies, is it? Fast forward 6 months, and the Spanish press is having a field day. El Problema Mbappe reads one headline. The €200 million question mark screams another. Social media is flooded with compilation videos of his offside calls, and even the most patient Madrid fans are starting to ask uncomfortable questions. The numbers don't lie. In his first 20 appearances for Real Madrid, Mbappe has been caught offside 42 times. That's more than twice per game. His conversion rate has dropped from 23% at PSG to just 14% at Madrid. And perhaps most telling of all, Madrid's win rate when he starts is actually lower than when he doesn't. So what's gone wrong? Is this really the same player who terrorized defenses across Europe for the past 6 years? The tactical nightmare. To understand Mbappe's struggles, we need to talk tactics. At PSG, Kylian was the system. Everything revolved around him. He had the freedom to drift wide, cut inside, make those devastating runs behind the defense, and most importantly, he had players whose primary job was to find him in space. Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid is a different beast entirely. This is a team built on balance, on players understanding their roles within a greater system. The 4-3-3 formation that served Madrid so well requires wingers who can track back, central strikers who can hold up play, and most crucially, players who understand the intricate timing of Madrid's offside trap. And this is where Mbappe's first major problem reveals itself. The Frenchman is used to making those early runs, using his pace to get behind defenses. But Madrid's build-up play is more methodical, more patient. By the time the ball reaches the final third, Mbappe has already made 3 runs that his teammates haven't spotted, and when they finally do play the pass, he's half a yard offside. Take the match against Athletic Bilbao in October. Mbappe made 7 runs behind the defense in the first half alone. 7! But Modric and Bellingham and Tchouaméni now are programmed to play a different tempo. The result? 4 offside calls and a visibly frustrated Mbappe gesturing at his teammates. But the tactical issues go deeper than just timing. Ancelotti has tried playing him as a central striker, as a left winger, even dropping him deeper as a false 9. Each position brings its own problems. As a striker, he lacks the physicality to battle center backs. As a left winger, he's reluctant to track back defensively. And as a false 9, he simply doesn't have the playmaking vision that the role demands. The Vinicius problem. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, Vinicius Jr. Before Mbappe's arrival, Vinicius was Madrid's undisputed star on the left wing. The Brazilian had grown into one of the world's best players, terrorizing defenses with his pace, trickery, and increasingly clinical finishing. But here's the thing. Both Mbappe and Vinicius want to operate in the same spaces. They both want to drift to the left, both want to cut inside onto their stronger right foot, both want to be the focal point of Madrid's attacks. It's like trying to fit 2 puzzle pieces that are almost identical, but not quite. In the Clásico against Barcelona, we saw this problem in full display. There's a moment in the 34th minute where Mbappe and Vinicius literally run into each other while making the same run. The ball goes to Tchouaméni instead, who's completely unmarked, but the move breaks down because 2 of Madrid's most expensive players are occupying the same space. The stats back this up. When both players are on the field together, Madrid's attacking output actually decreases. They average 1.7 goals per game with both playing, compared to 2.3 goals when just one of them starts. It's a classic case of too many cooks in the kitchen, and you can see the tension building. Vinicius, who was on course for a Ballon d'Or before Mbappe's arrival, is now playing second fiddle to a player who's arguably performing worse than him. Meanwhile, Mbappé is trying to justify his status as the marquee signing while clearly struggling to find his role in the team. According to reports from Spanish media, and we know how reliable they can be, there have been heated discussions in training about positioning and role responsibilities. Ancelotti is reportedly considering rotating the two players rather than starting them together, which would be a damning indictment of Madrid's transfer strategy. The psychological factor. But let's dig deeper than just tactics and team chemistry. There's a psychological element to Mbappé's struggles that we can't ignore. For the first time in his professional career, he's not the undisputed star of his team. At Monaco, he was the wonder kid. At PSG, he was the franchise player. But at Madrid, he's just another Galactico in a team full of them. Think about the pressure. This is a player who's been hailed as Pelé's successor, who scored a hat-trick in a World Cup final, who's been the face of French football for half a decade. And now, for the first time, he's facing genuine criticism for his performances. The psychological impact is evident in his body language on the pitch. Sports psychologist Dr. Maria Rodriguez analyzed Mbappé's celebrations and interactions with teammates and found a 67% decrease in positive emotional displays compared to his PSG days. He's pressing less, smiling less, and showing visible frustration more frequently. There's also the weight of history. Madrid fans don't just want good players, they want legends. They want players who understand the shirt, who bleed white, who deliver in the biggest moments. Mbappé is being measured not just against his price tag, but against the ghosts of Di Stefano, Ronaldo, and Raúl. And perhaps most crucially, he's playing in a league that's completely different from League One. La Liga defenders don't give you a second to think. The tactical sophistication is higher, the physical demands are different, and the margin for error is practically non-existent. Flashes of brilliance. But hold on. Before we write Mbappé's Madrid obituary, let's talk about the moments that remind us why Florentino Perez moved heaven and earth to sign him. October 26th, Champions League night at the Bernabeu. Madrid are trailing 1-0 to AC Milan, the crowd is restless, and Ancelotti is running out of ideas. Then, in the 73rd minute, magic happens. Mbappé receives the ball on the left, cuts inside past two defenders with that trademark burst of pace, and curls a perfect shot into the top corner. The Bernabeu explodes, and for a moment, everything makes sense again. That goal wasn't just about technique, it was about timing, about reading the game, about delivering when his team needed him most. It's the kind of moment that wins Champions League titles, and it reminded everyone why Madrid fought so hard to sign him. The numbers aren't all doom and gloom either. Despite his overall struggles, Mbappé is still Madrid's third highest scorer this season. His expected goals per game are actually higher than at PSG, suggesting that the chances are there. He just needs to be more clinical. And there are signs that he's beginning to understand Ancelotti's system. In the last 5 games, his offside count has dropped to 1.4 per game. Still high, but a significant improvement. He's starting to time his runs better. And crucially, he's developing a better understanding with his teammates. The El Clasico performance might have been disappointing overall, but there were moments, a perfectly weighted through ball to Bellingham, a defensive header in his own box, that showed glimpses of a more complete player emerging. The verdict. So, how bad is Kylian Mbappé actually? The answer is more nuanced than the headlines suggest. Is he playing at the level we expected when he signed? Absolutely not. Has his integration been more difficult than anyone anticipated? Without a doubt. Are there legitimate concerns about his tactical fit and his relationship with other key players? Yes, there are. But let's not forget that we're talking about a 26-year-old player who's adapting to a new league, a new tactical system, and the most demanding fan base in world football. Even Ronaldo took time to reach his peak at Madrid, and he was coming from the Premier League, which is arguably a better preparation for La Liga than League One. The truth is, Mbappé's numbers aren't actually that bad when you consider the context. His goal-per-game ratio is only marginally lower than his PSG average, and his assist numbers have actually improved. The eye test might suggest he's struggling, but the underlying metrics suggest a player who's gradually adapting. The real test will come in the second half of the season. This is when Madrid traditionally kicks into gear, when the Champions League becomes serious business, when the pressure reaches its peak. If Mbappé can deliver in these crucial moments, If he can find that understanding with Vinicius and develop that telepathic connection with Bellingham, then this difficult start will be remembered as nothing more than growing pains. Ancelotti is reportedly working on a new tactical setup that could unlock both Mbappé and Vinicius, a fluid 4-2-3-1 that allows both players to interchange positions while maintaining defensive balance. If this works, Madrid could have the most devastating attack in Europe. Remember, football history is littered with expensive signings who started slowly but became legends. It took Kaká a full season to adapt to Madrid. Bale was criticized for his first year. Even Modric was called a flop after his initial performances. So is Kylian Mbappé bad? Is he living up to expectations? Not yet. But are we being too quick to judge one of the most talented players of his generation? Probably. The beauty of football is that everything can change in a single moment, a single game, a single run of form. Mbappé has the talent, Madrid has the patience, and there's still plenty of time for this story to have a happy ending. What do you think? Are we being too harsh on Mbappé, or are the criticisms justified? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more football analysis like this. Because at the end of the day, writing off Kylian Mbappé might just be the biggest mistake we could make.